Okay. Okay, thank you for joining our session this morning, and we are going to talk about Canvas and the course settings and navigation. And let's see. So our workshop outline today, we are going to talk about the course settings, and in the course settings, you will find that feature, and then also you'll have a sidebar feature with some tools in there that will be useful to you. So in your settings, you're going to see that there's course details, and obviously it's self-explanatory. It lets you view and edit details of your course. You can see sections for your course. You can view and manage student sections, but the manage part depends on what IT is going to allow. So at least at this point, you will be able to view your sections if you have any. You can also rearrange, drag and drop, and reorder your navigation or your course menu. And also, we'll go through some apps that you're able to view. And at this point, I think IS is allowing faculty to add some learning tools, but we'll see in the future how that kind of plays out. But for sure, the instructional designers will have this feature available for the courses, and we can certainly help you with that. So I'll walk through some of that too. And then also feature options. This is also something that's enabled or disabled or allowed by IT. Currently, there's only 3, but we'll briefly go through this point right here. And then you have your sidebar tools in your course settings, which you can share to Commons. It publishes and shares your course to Canvas Commons, and we'll go in more detail about that. And then you have your course statistics. You can view user content and course statistics. You have your course calendar, and it takes you right to the global navigation bar. And then you can conclude this course, which basically archives your course, but students will not have access to this course. And then we have the delete this course, and this completely deletes your course from Canvas. Users, everything, it's pretty much gone. And then we have copy this course, which basically duplicates the course by creating a new course. And then we have import course, which is your copy and import course content into the current course that you're in. Export course content. So this feature is very limited. It basically just exports your course content. So if you want to kind of keep it for your own records and files, but the only caveat with this is that you have to have an LMS to open up that file. And then you can reset your course content. It removes all of your content. It basically restores it to a blank course. And then here, this is a really nice feature. You can validate your links in your all of your content in Canvas. So basically checks for broken links in the course. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like now in a course. And I'm going to go into my Sandbox course. So when you go into your course, you're going to see your course menu or course navigation bar right here on the left-hand side. Anything here in the green, that is your global course navigation. So it means you can globally access information for all of your courses in here. And this is specific to just your course right here. So I'm going to go over here at the bottom, the course settings, and this settings tab is only available to faculty. Students will have no access to this. So if you click on it, you'll see this page, and basically it goes through that information we just discussed, your course details, your sections, navigation, apps, and any feature options specific to the course. Okay. And then here are your sidebar items that we talked about earlier too. And I'll go through that information and show you what it looks like in just a second. So in this course details, you're going to see that it's basically exactly that. It's your course details. The time zone, I would always make sure that your time zone is at Central Time Zone. I know a lot of faculty are different time zones. This is not where you change a time zone for yourself, you would have to go into your account and change it over here in settings. And I'm not going to go through that because we have another workshop specifically for these settings. But you always want to make sure that your course is in Central Time Zone and you leave it there. Then over here we have the term. And these are all set, I'm pretty sure, are going to be set by the registrar's office and IT. And then also your participation here, it's either by term. So basically it's going to enable the course at the beginning of the term and close the course up, I should say, not enable. It will open up the course at the beginning of the term and conclude it at the end of the term automatically. You probably are going to have this feature where you can set it to course, and you can override the registrar's office. So if you, let's say, you know, April 10th is our summer term, and you want to open up the course on April 7th for your students, you can go ahead and set that in here to open up sooner. So basically, and this also here, I would make sure I would just keep it at private and copyrighted. Also, when you're working with students, you definitely don't want to, you know, kind of make it a public domain. And that is pretty much everything you need to know for course details. And then if you go into sections right here, this is where either the registrar's office will add your course sections, or you might be able to manually create them. We're not sure quite yet what IT is going to allow for faculty. But for instance here, let's say you have, you know, my practice course here is, and I'm teaching the same course. I have a section on Monday and Wednesdays, and I have a section on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So rather than having two different courses that I have to constantly go back and forth to, I can put all of these sections into one course over here, and then you can kind of divide certain features in the course itself between your sections. But again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because we are not quite sure how this is going to play out with IT and faculty and down the road. But here's your navigation right here. So your navigation is pretty much what we discussed right here is your course navigation. And anything that you see with an eyeball that is blocked out, and if you hover over it, it tells you it's disabled. So that means it's dragged and dropped over down here at this section. So let's say you do want to enable something for students to view. You can't just click on this eyeball. Now it's going to take me to the people page. So let's go over here. You will need to just kind of grab it. So let's say I want to put Office 365 and enable it. You basically just click on it, drag, and drop it. So then once you refresh your page, and I'll do that, you'll see that it's up here. Or it did not, 1 second, it did not move it for some reason. Oh, you have to click save. That was my bad. So let's try this again. Office 365, and then I have to go down here and click save to make sure that it saves my settings. And then you'll see it right here, Office 365. And there are certain features that faculty will always see in their left course navigation. So people, pages, collaborations, outcomes, rubrics, quizzes, conferences, discussions, assignments, and settings. You will always see this in your course navigation, even though it's hidden from students down here. But there are certain features, like for instance, Office 365, when I clicked it down here, you weren't able to see it until I put it up here. Because some of these are your basic course navigation features, and they want to make sure that faculty have it on hand and easily available as they're working through their course. So that's pretty much self-explanatory on your course navigation. We're going to go into this apps right here. Again, this is something that may change down the road with IT. You may not be able to have access to everything that's here, but it's a nice little feature. So for instance, we have an account with Canva for education. And so rather than going through all of the lists, I can just type that up here and it'll pull up. So I was able to find Canva, and then I went over here and I installed it in my course. So there's a few steps that are involved with here with installing these apps. So basically what it does is that it can add this app in your course, left course navigation bar right here. So I went ahead and added it, and if you click on it, oh, I don't know why it's telling me that, but I have to log in, that's why. But it will take me directly into Canva. It'll log me in and take me directly into Canva. Also, your students, when they click on it, they will go in there as the student. So they will have access to Canva just as readily as you will too. So if you are just, yes, go ahead.
I don't know what Canva is. Is it part of Canvas?
No. So Canva is this right here. I have it opened up. So it is basically like a design application. It's a separate application. It's completely different. And I know a lot of people confuse it with Canvas, but basically in here is where you can create some really nice, PowerPoint presentations.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say you have a student, you have a poster project for them to do. This is a great, tool for them to go in and create their poster projects.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got, it's really nice because it has some really nice, like design elements in here versus like PowerPoint. You're kind of really limited in your design features. But in here, there's like lots of different images. And of course, it's a free version. It's not going to give you everything like a paid version, but even the free version, there's a lot that you can do. So as we're recording this, if anybody does have any interest in this, just go ahead and reach out to one of the instructional designers, or you can reach out to me. I use Canva quite heavily. I love Canva. Yeah, it's beautiful. It does some amazing things, and there's templates in here that you can just add minimal. So let's say I want to go into, where did it go? Oops, I must have clicked on something. So I don't want to dwell too much on this, but let's say, I don't know.
Oh, but this puts it into your course. This is not an app for on your phone or someplace else.
Oh, they have separate apps for your phone too. They do.
Okay, so this is basically for the course. So.
Yeah, this is basically for your course, so students can just click and they don't have to like log in or anything. I think they're gonna have to create an account.
Sure.
Let's try this because I went in there and let's try this. I'm gonna go into homepage and then I'm going to go into student view. Because I did test this out in student view, and basically what it did is that it opened up Canva in my test student environment. So right here, test student. So it basically, like I said, it opens it up for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's a few, like I said, a few steps that you have to go through to enable it in your course.
Yes, and Lynette will help me with that.
And let's see. So I'm going to go into course settings again. So also we have Flipgrid enabled. So that's another like tool that you can put in here. If you choose to use it, you can install it and add it to the course, and it'll add the course menu items. What I do want to say is what is different with this course menu as compared to Blackboard is that you cannot just create another, so navigation. Obviously, this is all that you are able to put into your course navigation. You cannot create a new item for your course navigation over here like you were in Blackboard. And the only way to add anything really is, just these little separate apps. But pretty much everything that you see here is what is enabled in Canvas. So you can just basically drag and drop and add it, but you cannot create new ones for your course. Okay. And then we're going to go into feature options. Right now, there's just 3 items here, and they are pretty much, you can't even enable it. So I'm not going to dwell on this because, again, it's something that T is limiting, but just know that there is a features options for your course. And if you do happen to see more items in here, please reach out to one of us and we can definitely help you out with figuring, out how to use this in your course, some of those features. Okay, so now I'm going to move over to the sidebar item over here. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So in this first one, share to Commons. So if you click on it, it gives you the option of authorizing you to share your course in Canvas Commons, which is right here. So Canvas Commons is a nice, let me click on it 1 second. So Canvas Commons is a nice community of courses. I guess I have to authorize this, but I'm not gonna really dwell on it. But if you click on here, Canvas Commons, like I said, it's a nice community of courses that faculty have published for the Canvas community. So if you have a particular course, like let's say, nursing anesthesia, you're teaching a course in there, and you can go into Canvas Commons and see what other types of courses there were and what other faculty are doing. And it will not have any student information or data in there. Let me go back. So that is a nice little feature that you have. So in here we have course statistics. So if you click on it, it'll give you some information about so these are your totals. It'll just give you your totals for, the number of discussions you have, assignments, how many active students you have here, and how many quizzes. So it's a nice little overview of what your assignments are for your course. And if you go to the actual assignments tab, it gives you a little more detailed information. It tells you how many file uploads you have for assignments, how many submissions you have, for quizzes and assignments and so forth. And this is a nice one. I don't have any student users in here, so it's obviously I don't have any information. But if you click on it, it'll give you student statistics in here in an overview. So I can give you specific student information like per student, but it will give you an overview of all of your students. And then here is just basically your file storage for your Canvas course. And moving on, so course calendar will basically, if you click on it, it'll take you directly into your global navigation into your calendar. So that's pretty much all it does. And then you can go ahead and just check your calendar and see what you have coming due, and you can make your appointments and so forth. And we had a workshop on this yesterday. So if you do want to learn more information on it, you can visit our city website at Rush University, and it'll give you some more information on that. And then again, if we go into delete this course, again, like I said, it flags you before you can actually delete your course, and it gives you some information, and it tells you that students and teachers will no longer have access to it. So you basically are completely removing your course from Canvas. You cannot even archive your course. Conclude your course. That is where you will basically archive your course. But you will not, if you want to go back, you cannot change any grades or any of that kind of permanent information for your course. This feature is not something that's quite used if, like I said, you want to, for some reason, you need to make sure that your students don't have access to your course after the term. I would just go in here and make it unviewable for them in this course settings. And you can end the course right here and set the date for it. So copy this course is a little different from Blackboard. So when you go to copy this course, you're basically copying the course that you're currently in into a completely new course. Okay, so this is, like I said, basically just duplicating that course. into a new course. You can't so let's say you have a summer term course that's already built in by the registrar's office. This is not where you can copy your course into that course. For that, you have to go into import course. And in this little menu bar here, you click down on it, and this is where you copy a Canvas course. So let's say you have, so you have to kind of think a little bit more in reverse when it comes to Canvas. So you would need to go into your live shell course and copy a course into that live shell. And then you can just kind of look for that course in here. So let's see. So it's pretty responsive. Once you start typing in, it opens up what it thinks that you're looking for. So let's say for teaching purposes here, I'm actually in my summer term live course, and I want to copy my master course into my live course. This is where you would go into copy a course, you'd search for your course, and then you'd find the master course that you want to put in here. And then you want to make sure that you click all content. I'm not going to do that because I don't want all of this in here. But it gives you some other, gives you some other options here. So this is where also when you are migrating your course from Blackboard into Canvas, this is, there's two ways to go about it. You would export your Blackboard course. You can either create a zip file or create a common cartridge package and then upload that file into Canvas. So I believe we're going to have a workshop on this as well, on how to migrate your course from Blackboard. So I'm not going to dwell on this information and show you how to do it. And if you are still not quite sure about it, or you would prefer to have an instructional designer do it, just reach out to us and we can definitely help you with migrating your course over. And then the next feature to it, it queues your jobs. So it lets you know what's been completed. So it tells you right here that I copied the general course template into this sandbox course over here. So again, this is where you would either copy a course, a Canvas course, or import your content from Blackboard. Yeah, let's see. And then export course content. This is where you would export your Rush course. So basically, if you want to kind of keep an archival copy for your records, but the only thing is that you would need an LMS to open up that file that you've saved. So I would not worry about this information too much either. So reset your course. So let's say you started building, I have this template in here that I put in, and let's say I change my mind and I want to start over again. If you reset your course, again, it flags you. It's basically going to permanently delete all of your content that you put in there, and it's going to put it back into a blank slate pretty much. So again, I would just really be careful about resetting your course, because you will not be able to retrieve that information down the road. And the last button we're going to talk about is this validate links in content. This is a great feature when you copy over content from another course. If you click on that, and I pretty much already started the link validator, so it flagged me and told me, over here in Tech Help, you have this link here that is a broken link. You need to fix it. And also here in the Start Here page, it tells me that these two links, Course Resources and Tech Help, need to be looked at. So you can basically click on it, and it'll take you directly there. And it'll tell you, obviously, it just tells me that the Course Resources page does not exist. Okay, so going back into course settings, and then again, it's got this little, your current users. It's just telling me, how many students you have in the course, how many teachers, TAs, and so forth. Just a quick glance over. Also, one last thing, when you're in here, and pretty much in any of these pages that you have, course navigation menu items. There's this little arrow button over at the corner. If you click on it, it's going to open up some information on how to, for instance, we're in the settings page, so it's going to tell me how to, use course settings, set details for a course. So it's pretty much going to go into the Canvas help. If you click on it, it'll take you directly into Canvas help and into that page that you're looking for on some information. And then there's some additional information. If you click on it, it just takes you to the directory. And if you don't want to see these constantly, you can click on here and don't show again. It will kind of disable that feature, but I kind of like these little features in Canvas. So basically that is everything that I need to show you. Let me go to my slide. I'm going to go into the next slide. There are a few key points when you're in course settings. Again, just a reminder, Canvas does not allow you to create unique course navigation menu links or course menu items, nor can you rename them. You can hide the menu items or course navigation items from students, which we strongly recommend that you hide files and pages from students. You can rearrange the order in which the navigation menu items are displayed, like drag and drop. You can use import course content where you want to copy a Canvas course to another course. And then when importing or copying a Canvas course, use a validate links and content to check for any broken links. And then lastly is your time zone and course settings that are specific to the course and not your personal time zone preference. So any questions?
That was very helpful because we have to take our master course shell and put it into the new one. And so, but I think you said everything will go. Can you eliminate some things that you don't want to go?
It is, let me go
back. You eliminate after it's in the course. Then
I would probably eliminate things before you copy it over. It'll probably be the easiest way to do it. So okay. The nice thing about when you import course content from a Canvas course, so let's say, let me see, let's type in master. It used to be able that it would give you more specific information. So let's say you copied over your content. Yeah. So yeah, it used to be where you were able to choose just your content, just your quizzes, just your discussions, but it looks like
if you choose that select second one, you can do that and then do import and then it'll show the selections.
It didn't do that.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So
all right.
Yeah, so they changed it. It used to be that it was right underneath that, so they moved it over.
So you do the select one. That makes sense.
Yeah, so yeah, it's been like 2 years since I was in Canvas. So obviously, and Canvas is always updating their learning management system. So yeah, so you can specify what content you want to move over to.
Okay.
Now it's flagging me, telling me it's waiting for my selection, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that. Yeah. So
well, that's good to know.
Yeah. And again, you can reach out to any of us for any additional information or help. Because like I said, some of that information that is in the course settings might change depending on what you see that you're in, based on what IT is going to allow for faculty. Because right now we're obviously in our pilot program, so they're still kind of testing things out.
So do you know if we have to take all of our Blackboard courses and import them into Canvas? Are we going to be responsible for that?
That is a good question, and I think we're still working on that. It might just depend on, we have our LMS, committee, so those are one of the questions they're working on.
Okay.
It might depend on the program. The program director might just say, what can, you have your instructional designers do all of this for us. Or it could be that they decide, we have a couple instructors that can do it for our department and with the help of an instructional designer, or it could just be that, some faculty just do it on their own. So we're still kind of open-ended on that question.
Okay, thanks, Lynette. And also, one other quick question. In our sandbox, can we take one of our courses and put it in the sandbox and then play with it there and it won't mess anything else up?
Sure, for sure. We can definitely do that.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
that's exactly what the sandbox course is. It's for you to play around with. And if you would prefer to, put one of your courses in there as an example for you to play around with, that's for sure something you can for sure do. And it's a good practice too. Like, instead of trying to create everything from scratch, maybe, it's probably easier for you to work around your course and play around with an actual course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when do we get our sandboxes? Or is there one there for me already?
That is another thing that our LMS committee is working on with IT. That's another good question. I believe everybody will be getting a sandbox course. When that is, I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Lynette will let me know. She's my buddy.
Yeah. You can always visit our city website at University, and we've got some information there on what's going on with our LMS. There's some information on all of that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Okay. Thank you so much, Bronca.
Anytime.
Thank you, Bronca.
Well, thank you for joining me, not making me feel lonely this morning.
Yes.